Governor Greg Abbott made little mention of the coronavirus pandemic while sharing his agenda for the legislative session. Abbott participated in an event hosted by the Texas Public Policy Foundation in Austin, where hospitals are critically full and the city is at its highest level of COVID-19 risk. About half of attendees wore masks at the indoor event. Governor Abbott has yet to announce his emergency priorities, which are required to be in line first in a legislative session. But when asked directly about those priorities, he did talk about health care.
We want to create a healthier state and healthier Texans, and there's several things and ways we can go about that process. One is by continuing one of the things that we expanded during the course of the pandemic, and that is expanding telemedicine. Now, another thing that we must do in the state of Texas is we must ensure that regardless of what may happen at the federal level, we need to ensure that all Texans will have insurance coverage for pre-existing conditions so that no one ever is in a situation where they are uncovered for pre-existing conditions.
Abbott also called for a law that would allow the state to withhold sales tax revenue from cities that defund police, vowed to fight federal government overreach by the incoming Biden administration, and said he wants to make Texas a Second Amendment sanctuary state. One of the first orders of business here at the Capitol was the vote for the new Speaker of the House. Beaumont Republican Dade Phelan easily won the job, one of the most influential in Texas politics. Our Wes Rapaport spoke one-on-one with Phelan about his top priorities for this session.
I'm the same person that I am that actually when I walked in this door as a young staffer in 1994. Nothing's changed. Great respect for this body. I think this is the people's house.
Dade Phelan has already moved into the Speaker's office on the second floor of the state capitol. With a mountain of topics to tackle, he says priority number one is ensuring the state holds up its end of the $11 billion investment in public education, which hasn't been fully paid.
My personal budget in my house, or the budget that I have at my business, whatever I spend the most money on is the most important thing. And the most important thing here in Texas is education.
But education, like everything, will filter through a coronavirus lens.
It's going to impact all policy that we review.
Phelan says there's a silver lining. The state has been out of session thus far.
We're one of the last states to meet in the country post-pandemic, so we have a lot of best practices we can glean from other states and build on their successes as well.
New Big Three. What's your relationship like with the governor and the lieutenant governor?
They work hard, and we've had some preliminary conversations, and I guess after tomorrow we'll have a lot more conversations and we'll spend a lot more time together, but we're all committed to get Texas economy back up and running.
I'm Wes Rapaport for State of Texas.
Only 4 members, all Republicans, voted against Phelan's speaker bid. Phelan vowed to continue the practice of appointing Democrats to committee chairs, though Republicans do still control the House chamber. It's a different story in the Senate, though. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick leads the chamber. He pushed to lower the threshold for how many senators are needed to bring a bill to the floor for debate. Last session, it was 19, or 3/5 of the Senate. But Republicans now hold 18 seats, meaning Democrats would be able to block a bill if they voted along party lines. So Patrick changed the rule to require just 18 votes, or 5/9 of the Senate. That brought protests from Democrats.
I grew up in Whitney, Texas, and I'll be darned if I remember us studying what 5/9 is. 2/3 yes, 3/5 yes, but 5/9 we just never contemplated somebody standing up trying to say they wanted to be governed by 5/9.
Patrick said election results showed that Texans want conservative legislation. He spoke at an event hosted by the conservative Texas Public Policy Foundation and said changing the rule will help those bills pass.
We can't do anything you want us to do. We can't do anything you want us to do if we don't change the rule. Anything that's important, conservative bills will be blocked. Gun bills, life bills, tax bills, they'll be blocked. So we have to do it. That's what you elected us to do.
Republicans point out of the 1,816 bills passed last session, only 18 passed along a straight party line vote. This session promises to be like no other before. We'll look at what's changing and what's staying the same for people inside the Capitol. Lawmakers face a giant shortfall as they start work on the state's budget.
The more that we have confidence as consumers, the better the economy is going to recover here in Texas.
Why the outlook is better than expected and how the COVID vaccine could boost the state's budget.